everyone, Ken's Wild here with Wild Child Horsemanship, and welcome back to our channel.
I'm gonna see it through. You want spotless, I'll always lose. Don't want love, I want the truth.
In today's YouTube video, we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic. There is a new piece of equipment that has hit the market, and we gotta talk about it. It is a double-seated saddle. The purpose is for the child to ride up here and the adult to ride in the back. Obviously, it's really fucking long. So I am going to go grab a horse. We're going to put it on a horse and we're going to talk about the fit of it. Is it really humane to ride in? And if you're a horse person, I hope you already know this answer. But if not, that is why I'm making this video, to not only show off this unique piece of equipment, but to educate others on it. So this right here is Mr. Legend. He is a 5-year-old draft cross gelding. So now that this contraption is on Mr. Legend, let's talk about the fit. So first things first, we can see that it's really, really long. And that is the first and probably one of the very biggest issues with this saddle. So because this is so long, this actually goes over his hip bone. And because it goes over his hip bone, this is going to cause a whole host of other issues, right? So this is going to restrict his movement. Every single time he moves his hind end, it's going to rub up against that saddle. Not only is this going to cause like saddle sores, but it's going to affect his hips, it's going to affect his spine, and it's even going to come forward and it's going to affect his shoulders and all of that as well, because his hind end is pushing the saddle up to the front end, and the front end is trying to keep the saddle towards the hind end, and overall there's just not a lot of flexibility. The saddle itself cannot maneuver, and the horse cannot function how they're supposed to function because you have this super long thing in the way. Imagine that you have a plank of wood from your foot to your hip, and it's just one long plank of wood. Well, now you're going to be walking all funny because your leg cannot bend. It cannot move how it is designed to do so. And so now over time your hips are going to hurt. Your knees are going to hurt because your knees can't move either. And so all of your hips and your joints are going to hurt, and eventually that's going to move up the body as well. It's the exact same thing with a saddle like this. Because this is so stiff, it's so long, and it just really wasn't designed to sit on a horse's back, it's going to cause a whole host of issues that we really don't want to open up, especially if we want a sound, happy, healthy horse. Next, I want to talk about the stirrups. As I kind of already mentioned, this saddle was designed to have a child up front and an adult in the back. So there's two sets of stirrups, one for the front, one for the back. When you're typically riding a horse, your leg is going to be right where these child stirrups are, just about. And so that horse is used to you communicating in this direct spot, right? When you ask him to go, when you use leg pressure to have them turn, all of these different factors of communication are typically right here. Now you add a second set of stirrups to the mix, even further behind, and now you're starting to ask your horse how to go, how to turn, and all that stuff from way back here. And that's something that the horse is not used to. So now not only is this going to affect the horse's physical functionality, but it's also going to affect how you communicate with them. Next up, there's a place for 3 cinches. Not 1, not 2, but 3. So we're gonna have that front cinch right here, and that's our normal cinch. Then we're gonna have a middle cinch, which is kind of sorta in the place of a back cinch, but actually a little far forward. And then we're gonna have the third cinch, which is literally right by where their leg meets their stomach. And for a male horse, that can't be very comfortable. So now we have 3 cinches. Now the real question is, do we have all 3 cinches super tight? Do we have the bottom 2 super loose? Because if we have some of them loose and some of them tight, then the saddle itself is going to shift as we ride and as we move. And with that, now if we have a saddle slipping to the side, now that's a safety hazard for both the humans and the horse. When we ride, we are taught to sit on the widest part of the horse's rib cage. This makes things more stable for us. It's better for the horse's body structure. And overall, that's just what you're supposed to do. So now you have the smaller rider on the widest part of the rib cage, and the heavier rider on the hind end of the horse. You're literally sitting on the butt of the horse. That's going to throw the horse off balance. That's going to throw you off balance. And as I already mentioned, it's going to cause a bunch of physical issues for the horse. And riding on the ass of the horse is not very stable. And I don't know about you, but if you're working with some horses and you go to sit way on their ass, you're going to be kicked to the moon because they don't like it very much. So again, this poses more of a safety risk. There's a lot less stability, and it's just not good all around. The next question Legend and I have are saddle pads. Do they even make saddle pads that are long enough to fit this saddle? When it comes to saddle fit, typically the saddle pad is supposed to stop right at the horse's hips, because if the saddle pad is rubbing on those hip bones, that's not a very good thing. And so because the saddle in itself is already going to be rubbing on the hip bones, now if we are for some reason able to find a saddle pad, that's just more pressure on those hip bones, more pressure on the horse, and something that's already not designed for them. So now we're going to give you guys a closer view. All right. To summarize, this saddle should not be ridden in, ever. So if you're like me and you come across this weird ass thing on Facebook Marketplace and then you buy it, only buy it for educational purposes. This is not safe to ride in. It can cause so many issues for your horse, behaviorally, physically, and more. And on top of that, we should always be putting safety first. Horses are big animals. They can cause a lot of damage. And this is like the complete opposite of safety. So please do not buy these saddles. I know that they're kind of growing in popularity on Amazon, and quite frankly, that really scares me as somebody who has dedicated my life to finding the kinder, more humane, science-based horsemanship methods and all of that. The fact that these are even selling is really, really scary to me. So I hope that this has provided some educational insight for those of you who might see it online and think, oh, that would be great for my kid and I to ride in. Don't buy it. There are so many different options out there. I'm going to make a list of them at the end of this video. You can go and check them all out. Those are going to be way better options. They're going to be safer for you and safer for your horse if you go with one of those instead of one of these fucked up things. Let's give a huge shout out to Mr. Legend for standing so politely during this video, modeling this saddle and just being the awesome, wonderful boy he is. Friendly reminder, we are also a sponsored rider for Jeweled and Tooled Customs. They made this wonderful, wonderful halter. So definitely go and check them out. They make all kinds of cool leather and mule tape products. And if you use the discount code WILDCHILD2024 when checking out, you'll get a killer deal. Before we close off this video, don't forget to go and check out our books. I've got 3 books on the shelf, and they are all on a variety of topics relating to horses. We also have a podcast out there. It is about the life lessons horses have to teach us. And we also have a merch store, so you can go and get some cool fancy merch, sport it, send us a picture of you wearing it, and we'll give you a discount on your next purchase. With that being said, I'd like to give y'all a friendly reminder that all of the pictures and videos, all of the content you see at Wild Child is funded by myself. I like to do this at absolutely no cost to you guys because the world is so expensive right now, and I really just want to help make a better world for the horses we all love so much. However, if you would like to help financially support the sanctuary horses, the materials we need to make and edit these videos, I have a list of different ways that you can donate. I'm not a registered nonprofit. I'm just an LLC trying to make a living, support the animals, and help horses and humans overcome their problems while advocating for kinder, more humane horsemanship methods. With that being said, if you have not already, please hit the red subscribe button. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, our podcast, and all of the many, many other things that we have available. Thank you all for watching. Stay strong, stay true, stay wild, and we'll see y'all next time.